Chinese New Year's. The countdown. I love it.
Countdown, right? Yeah, I need to fix that. We went 30 seconds and then there was another 30 seconds. I apologize. It's confusing. But happy Friday. Happy Power Post Friday. Julie and I are here again on Friday to discuss this week's most important can't miss social media posts from the events industry. And Julie has put together a fantastic summary this week. It's a little bit longer, but there's some really, really nice posts this week, really good content from the industry. And let's start with, I'm just going to bring it up on the screen here. And I think we should just start talking about Sant Jordi. This is Sant Jordi in Catalonia, and this means that we need to share roses. Yeah, happy Sant Jordi. We usually do this in the office, but today we're going to have to do it virtually. Can you explain for a second what Sant Jordi is for everybody that's chiming in and listening?
I'm not really good because I'm French, so I'm not from here. And I'm not sure about the legend that they have. It's about a dragon that is holding like a princess. And obviously that's the prince that is coming to get her out and defend her from the dragon. Nothing very feminist here, but that's okay. But the whole point of this is that we can all exchange roses, but also books.
Yeah, books.
So that's
generally the men give the roses, or traditionally, let's say, because that's changing now, fortunately. The men give roses to the women, and the women give a book to the men. And I believe the legend is when he slayed the dragon, some blood fell into the dirt or into the earth, and from there grew just a little rose out of the ground like that.
I can tell you've got kids. You know the story much better than me.
I know. Yeah, I know it very well. But anyway, let's jump onto it. Everybody's here to see what the top media social posts of the week are. So let's get started. If you head over to acomoplus.com/blog, you're going to see this week's best power post for April 23rd. And Julie, why don't you start out with the very first one from Rachel Green? What you chose this one as one of your favorite ones. What do you like about it?
Well, first, thank you, Rachel, for writing this post. And I'm not on Clubhouse, so I have a very broad knowledge of it, but not really in depth. I think it's Narmin that is considered the queen of Clubhouse, so shout outs to you. Because I'm a proud Android user, I have not been able to log into Clubhouse. So I've heard multiple things at the beginning, and I was like, well, I can't test it, so I can't really make my own opinion about it. But I wanted to shout out this one because the rooms for even profs are slowing down from what I've heard, because I think it's Naomi and also Sabrina that said that the audience for even profs community is not on Clubhouse anymore. So everybody's kind of shifting away from Clubhouse. So I think it's still good to have a list of the best rooms. I think it's called rooms. I'm not a user, so I might not be using the good vocabulary. But from Rachel is saying that's a good room to follow. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, Clubhouse is still in the mix. So, yeah, there's kind of a new debate creeping up about Clubhouse. It was all the rage for a few months, and I mean, when it first came out, we did a 20-minute live events prof on this, and I had my doubts about Clubhouse only because we were in a pandemic. Everybody was at home. We didn't have much else to do, and so people had time to sit there and be on Clubhouse and be in these rooms. Now things are opening up. People don't want to be sitting on their phone for a long time. And also, me personally, with Clubhouse, there's no evergreen content. Once you have the conversation and things, if you miss it, you miss it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think this debate is going to work out. We're going to see who continues to use Clubhouse, who continues to leverage it. But also, we got to think Facebook is coming in, Twitter's coming in, LinkedIn is coming in. There's going to be a ton of competition to Clubhouse. So is that going to eat at the base? I put out a tweet on my @EventDad Twitter account the other day. The downloads for Clubhouse have gone, I think they're down about 68% from March to April. So there's a lot of things happening there, but it is a good place to meet with event profs too. So let's see what happens.
Let's give them a chance.
Let's give them a chance. Exactly. So I'm going to keep rolling on because we're going to try to keep this short and sweet, and then you guys can check in to see the rest of them. It's a very nice post. Next one comes from William Thompson, one of my best friends here in Barcelona, also just a fantastic virtual event mentor. And he put out a LinkedIn post that says, event organizers say, no one is paying to come to my virtual event, right? We're complaining about that. But at the same time, event organizers are saying, I am not paying to attend an event industry virtual event. How does this work out together? So it's a very good point, because we're all complaining about we're not getting enough ticket sales, people are not buying to come to the event, but at the same time, if we're not doing it ourselves, how can we possibly expect other people to be paying to come to our events? And I mean,
but that's the value that you're getting from it that is also complicated.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I think the big thing here is, when we think of a virtual event, we have to think now that we are competing with screen time for other applications. And what I mean by that is that your content and your event, in my mind, is competing directly with things like YouTube, any sort of educational place that's online. So for example, if I see your event has this content and you're charging me for that content, but at the same time, I can find the same thing on YouTube and watch it on my own time, there's some real competition there, and that's something you have to consider. The content that you are creating, the experience that you're creating has to bring, like Julie said, enough value that people want to pay for it. So let's not complain that no one's paying to come. You need to focus on the value and the content that you're making for your event.
I think I would add on to not only the screen time, but just time in general. This is the most precious thing that we have, because during the pandemic, we had time, but now things have changed. So time is, well, people used to say time is money. They still say that. I don't think that time is only money. Time is only something that you can decide to dedicate to a book, a screen, whatever you want to watch, or also just family moments or playing a board game. And in the end, if I can pick like spending time with my family, I would rather do that instead of facing a screen.
Yeah. There's a lot of competition for your time right now. Yeah. So thank you, William. That's a really nice, insightful post. So appreciate that. Now, moving on, I really like this one from Desiree Wolf. Looks like she is, let me just bring it up here. All right, cool. So Desiree puts out a post, and basically she says, as an event pro, it's okay if you didn't jump into virtual events this past year. It's okay if you decided to wait out the storm before diving back in. It's okay if you didn't pivot and you sat quietly to reflect and evaluate. This past year was so much pressure for event and hospitality peeps to embrace the change, but I want to remind you that change isn't always for everyone. So if you say it's still this past year, we wanted to wait until in-person events return, don't think you failed or that you're any less of an event pro. I mean, this is, it's really, really, really well written. It's a really insightful post. And I think she's really putting her finger on something that a lot of people are experiencing on LinkedIn, on Clubhouse, on Facebook, on Instagram. We see people's wins, right? We see,
but we're not sharing our failures.
Winning. Exactly. And I think because we've been through this. I mean, you and I went through this at the beginning. It's, how are we going to move? How are we going to become digital? What are we doing? And you feel like you're constantly behind. And I think we need to pay attention to this more. We need to give that more light, that there's a lot of people who haven't made the pivot. In fact, I would say most people haven't made the pivot, and that's okay. And I love that she's bringing light to this topic.
More than it's okay, it's also never too late. I think it was Beyonce, the Destiny's Child, or Justin Bieber. One of them just sang that song that is never too late, something like this.
All right.
So yeah.
Don't sing it too well. We might get copyrighted.
Sorry.
And that's true. It is never too late. I mean, virtual is going to be the future. We need to be learning about it, but at the same time, we can't compare ourselves to the people who've made these virtual pivots, and it's okay. Things are going to come back, and I think it's nice to know that there's other people having those experiences. So, thank you, Desiree Wolf. Was there anything else you wanted to comment on that, Julie?
No, I think I'm watching the time, and we said we would do 5 minutes, so we better
All
run to
right.
the last one.
That's the operations manager over there. All right, come on.
Keeping
Next
an eye
one.
on the
Next.
time all the time. I'll start.
I love it.
So, because
I
today
love it.
is San Jordi and we're supposed
There
to
we
be
go.
exchanging books,
Here we go.
I thought it was a nice one to chat about. It's a reel from Sabrina, where lots of even profs are sharing their recommendation for books. And many are very interesting. I haven't read them all, but I wanted to share also one of my book recommendation and one of my new reading routine that I've just added. So just because I am not an early morning person, I am not part of these people that are 5 a.m. club. I don't like the morning. I'm a night owl, and I don't think that I will be able to change that. But this week, I've started to do a new routine. So basically, I just wake up, make my coffee, and then I go back to bed. But then I start reading for 30 minutes. And this is my me time. And it's my pleasure to be waking up every morning. So I don't know if this works for you. You can try it. If not, that's okay. But I think it was John Quick, what's his name? The Power of Reading. He wrote books about this, and he said, if you don't schedule time to read, it's easy to skip it. And reading is something that brings us so much knowledge, joy, and calm, serenity, and all of these things. So it's very important.
Totally.
So I wanted to ask you, Jason, do you have a book recommendation for our audience?
I do. I have a few. So my reading routine kind of depends on the children. My mornings are impossible. That's not 5 a.m. and there's no books. It's basically like breakfast, clothes, car, a bit of screaming usually. Yeah, exactly. But I usually read at night. And one book, I was actually talking to at Chloe in events. It's funny, on Instagram, I don't even know people's real names. I just know their handle. But she made a blog about copywriting, and I wanted to recommend this book, which I don't know if you can see.
Everybody Writes.
Exactly. Let me pull it up on the screen here. There we go. It's a little bit better, yeah? Okay. So Everybody Writes by Anne Handley. Okay. Now, this is if you're into copywriting, if you want to write blogs, write better posts, write better content, I really, really recommend this book. It's well written, it's concise, it's fun too. It's not this like boring grammar police type book. Highly, highly recommended. Another one that I love is called Atomic Habits. And it talks about how habits pretty much do define is your base for everything. And it's one of those books where you kind of have to have a highlighter the whole time. I need to reread it. But Atomic Habits and Everybody Writes for me. So nice. Yeah, I think that's good.
That's pretty much it.
That's good.
Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Head over to the Power Post. That's acomoplus.com/blog, and check out all the Power Posts. There's a ton of information there, all the top Power Posts of the week, and we do this every single Friday. So if you like it, please leave a comment, and if you want to be included, let us know. Send us your posts that you think are nice. We are 100% subjective. Subjective? No, objective.
Objective. No, you're objective.
100%.
I'm like the
no, you're good. There is, and we're trying to get voices too. We want to get new voices, not always the same voices. So you do a great job of selecting people from all over the world, globally. A lot of people that haven't been highlighted before. So check it out. Let us know what you think. Let us know how we can improve.
Making sure that there is some diversity and inclusion, because this is one of the important topics that is also this week. Many posts 100%. About this, so read it out, because 100%. We've only presented 4, but there's many more.
100%. Cool. All right, Julie. Thank you. Happy San Jordi.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Enjoy your roses and your books.
Thank you.
And,
you too.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye. Bye.